Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Mujiji ki jai. Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome. Rashmi is also here with us today. She has some questions she can ask as well. If this is your first time in Satsang, the way to ask questions is through the chat window. Namaste, welcome, welcome. Stop watching right now. Can you stop watching? Stop witnessing anything. Don't be a witness to anything at all. When the mind hears the instruction, be a witness, it presumes that it is a particular state that we must stay in. But when we invert this, when we say stop being the witness, when we say stop being the witness, then what do you say? Can you stop? Who can stop witnessing right now? Namaste, namaste. Atma says, yes, Father, our nature is witnessing. So then what is needed to be done? If our nature is witnessing and we cannot stop, then what is required? Cornelia says, yes, I can stop. Okay. So we'll hear more about this. Can you elaborate? Who can see that you have stopped? Who is witnessing even the stopping? If you say that, even if you presume that it is possible, who is reporting I have stopped witnessing? Who is witnessing the stopping? So it is not about the presence or absence of phenomenal appearances. Even the absence of phenomena is witnessed, isn't it? You can say that there is nothing to report or nothing to see. Nobody can see. Yes, it's not a thing, it's not a body which can see that there is nothing to report. But to say that there is nothing, there must be a witness who can say that I am sure there is nothing. It is seen, isn't it? Like you can say whether there is a presence of a thought or there is no thought. You are there to witness this. In the same way, you are there to witness sleep and no sleep also. Yes, and then Cornelia says, I just am. Yes. And who sees this I am also? The presence of being the presence of consciousness, that I am is present, even that is seen ultimately. Not ultimately, let's not even use the word ultimately because it makes it seem like a distant conclusion that we will come to. Even this is seen right now. When we ask the question, can you stop being now? Who sees that you cannot stop being? Who sees that being is here? This I. Who is this I? This I in which even the sense of I am takes birth. Atma says, I am always there to witness all phenomena and absence of phenomena. Yes. For this witnessing, for this awareness, what is the trouble? Can there be a problem? And then the mind will say, oh, yes, but this happens, and this happens, and this appears, and this feeling comes, or this feeling does not stay. And very quickly we bite it in because it seems like a lifeline. These pennies that this ego mind is dropping seems like the last bit of security we can get. It is not true. Cornelia says, this I cannot be seen. Let us see it right now. This I, which is true, that cannot be phenomenally seen, but we can see it right now. We can become aware of it right now. And that is why, again, let's go back to the basic questions today. So when we say, are you aware now? It is not a phenomenal scene that confirms this, but it is clear that awareness is present. So this is this absolute, which is aware of its own self. Awareness is self-aware. Namaste Aradhana, no worries, welcome. This awareness, which is aware of being, which is aware of awareness itself, this is what you are. Ishani says, Father, earlier there was constant contemplation. Now, although I know and feel what you say about witness and I am, it feels like I can't find difference anywhere. Yes. Unless maybe if I make the effort to. Yes. This effort is not required. But you know when you go to sleep and you know that you woke up. So when you woke up this morning, if I were to say, around what time did you wake up? Then you will say 7, 7:30, 8, whatever. What woke up then? It is the sense I am that woke up. And after you woke up as the I am, then the world wakes up. In deep sleep, there was no I am. and there was no world also. It's good. And then Ishani says, contemplate like mind is sleeping in a surrender. It's very good. Let it sleep. And now we are not fearful of it waking up. We are not afraid of what it is going to say also now. That is freedom. Freedom cannot be a state where we are afraid of what the mind is going to say next.
That's what's going on here actually. So
Hmm.
there's a fear of the mind again.
The fear is there of the mind. Yes. What is the worst that the mind can do? It will question your freedom.
It's just been saying like you're never going to you're going to fail miserably, and
Yes.
inwards I know it's not true. I mean, it's like there's so much clarity, and then the storm just comes, and then
Yes.
somehow you end up believing that. It's just, and then the suffering starts.
So always, what what could happen is that if you do a postmortem, if you do a postmortem saying this is there was clarity and then storm came, it means nothing actually. So there is an expectation that storm will not come now, or even if storm comes, why does it get my belief?
Yeah, it's the second one.
Okay, the second one. For earlier, it could have been the first. Now it has become okay. Storm comes strong, but now I should not be able to believe it. There's still lurking this concept of the free one, who should now not even believe something. But in the now, what is it? Who was that one that believed? Where is it now? It does not exist. Our memory is the most unreliable thing. Like we say in satsang, no? When we land in a dream, in the middle of a situation, most time we don't say, "Oh, where have I come? Who are these people?" They feel familiar. We seem to have a history with them. We know who they are. So there is memory also of those characters which we've never met before. So how reliable can this memory be? Every moment fresh.
Sometimes it just feels hard to even drop the thought. It's like I know I have to drop the next thought.
Yes.
It's just once it gets your attention, it's just and belief actually. It
Yes.
just it seems so much effort to drop it,
Yes.
and that creates more fear. And
But that is also good because if there are some thoughts which still get our belief, then that means that there is some identity which has not been transcended yet.
I asked to surrender it, and then
Yeah.
the storm came, and then it's just
Yes.
like you say, you surrender, and then you say, no, I don't want all of this.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
it's just so much.
So that's a very convenient surrender that we do. It's like a deal making that I surrender, and now this storm should not come. But the storm could be the fruit of your surrender. It could come because you surrendered it, and it could be getting released in this way. So instead of saying that it is going, we say it is coming. Then it stays. If we say that it is coming, we have so much power in our belief that it then becomes real. So, what would be good is to see what are these thoughts saying. If there is something, even for you now, if there is something that says that this is what it is, and you end up giving it your belief again and again, then what is the identity which is still there? It could be mother identity, it could be seeker identity. These are some of the strong ones.
It's those sticky ones, though. Seems like the last few ones.
Yes.
They're really sticky.
So one also thing you all must remember is that in every moment you are free. And this is true for everyone. Everyone is free every moment. At best, we have the power to believe, to pretend to be something that we are not. But in reality, nothing has changed. So even if this belief comes, it does not affect anything in reality. That is the peace of God. You see, as the Course in Miracles says, that nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal has ever existed. So nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal ever existed. Herein lies the peace of God. So then, even if belief goes, if you spend 10 million more lifetimes believing yourself to be a person, it is nothing for you actually. Hmm?
Just feels like suffering, but even the sufferers seem to be not real.
Yes, yes.
Just Maya.
And it is your own Maya. This Maya also is your own creation. You see, you will come to the realization that even this Maya is your pet. It is dancing for your entertainment. It does not seem like that because, as part of the entertainment package that you ordered, you also ordered this thing where you will learn something. You will learn to transcend everything that you are not. So it's an edutainment package that you order. And if this was not to happen, suppose nothing got your belief, but some identity was still there, you know, and this shows up like 20 years later. And until then, you started like satsang, and people are coming to you, and something happens, and then 20 years later, this seeker identity pops up. Hey, I'm still here, and you have a big following, like thousands of people, and all of that. And then suddenly you wake up and say, "Oh, I'm still seeking. I haven't really got it. I've only been fooling myself." Hmm? Interesting story, but I don't think we wish that for you.
Let just all
So
go
let
right
it all
now.
come now. Exactly. See, this is your
I know
prayer.
I'm asking for it, but when it comes, it's just
Yes.
in that I feel like I'm gone. Like this, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's just yeah. I know it's stupid, but
So know that life knows what it is doing. And life will push every button which is still there. That is grace. And if you can accept that as grace, then no problem. So what happens when a storm comes? What is our attitude towards the storm? If our attitude is going to be, oh no, it's back, then we are more. Whoa, where did this come from? This is still here. Wow, let's look at this.
sometimes in the storm there is no power to even look. It's just like I'm pulled into it, and I because of the identification, I feel like I'm that, and it's
Yes.
I'm not good. Whatever.
Yes, yes. So such strong, if there's still such strong identity, then you can identify and say, what is the identity? Is it seeker or mother? These are the
No,
two.
it's actually it's funny. It's
Okay,
actually
neither
the
of
daughter-in-law part.
daughter. Yes,
And
yes,
frankly,
one of the
there's
classic
not,
ones.
no. There's absolutely no bad relation. It's
Yes.
actually very good.
Yes.
But I don't know where all of this is coming from. It probably was somewhere stuck
Yes.
somewhere, and
Yes.
it's just so.
Yes. These feelings of approval, this sense of being liked, the sense of being a good identity, whatever it is. And you know there is no daughter.
No, I'm nothing. It's just, but the identity is there and it's burning.
Where is it? What is the identity about? What does it say? See, the identity, when we say identity is there also, it's like a mythical thing. It doesn't actually exist. It's just some, it's like a voice. You should be this way. This is what your in law should be like, or what kind of daughter in law you should be like. It's just the same guy.
It's about doership actually here,
Mm-hmm.
and me doing it,
Mm.
or me wanting my own space, or whatever, whatever the thing is coming out. That me is still there.
Yes, yes. This me is not there. Okay, let's catch up in the chat. Atma says, I want to say this, that this presence is felt more is more felt here, or better to say, it is easier to be felt when night is coming and during the evening and night, when there is no light of the day. Then I feel it deeper. Can you say something about this? Yes. This can happen sometimes. See? So some part of it is also our prior conditioning. So suppose we used to do some sadhana later in the night. Like I used to contemplate, do a lot of self-inquiry in the night. So even now, when I'm going off to sleep, automatically this question is coming up. You see, who am I? Who am I? It's still coming up, and everything seems to get very quiet. So some of it could be like that. Otherwise, day or night actually makes no difference. But in the play of this, it can function like this. It is nothing to be concerned about, or just enjoy the times where it is just seems automatic. Also, it's like sitting on the banks of the Ganga, on the presence of Arunachala. The mind is automatically quiet. So, in the Leela also, there are times and places where this mind does not have too much power. That is absolutely perfect. Yes, you say when the absence of mind is felt easier. Yes. So, in these holy places, at certain times of the day, in India, we also have this concept of the Brahma Muhurtam. Jyoti from the US said, no, once that 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning is a auspicious time. It can be like that. Cornelia says, sometimes if I witness, I cannot work. So I just do my job. Obvious is a kind of witnessing there because I am conscious. See? Yes. See the trick in this. Now I found your question, you see. Because you feel that there is an entity which is witnessing. You feel that there is an entity whose job is to witness. Actually, what I am saying is that this witnessing is what you are. You are not a thing at all. If you are the witnessing itself, then what effort would be needed to be witnessing? But if you presume that I am an entity who needs to do this witnessing thing, then it becomes a practice. There is nothing you can do to stop the witnessing. It cannot go away. That's why I say drop all effort. No effort is required. Even in the most deeply identified situation. So Rashmi, suppose, is just saying, I'm just daughter-in-law, nothing else. Even in that, she cannot become that. Even in that, that witnessing is ever present.
So what is this when you feel you're deluded? Yeah, and I know I'm not, and I'm witnessing because that's why I can report. But why does it feel like it's you're not what you are? What
What is
is
the
that?
the feeling is not a thought, or a feeling cannot testify to what you are. You see, that's the mistake we make. So first, initially in satsang, we try to get the mind to testify that what is being spoken is true. Then after a few satsang, we realize this mind is not going to testify to the truth. But I'm so used to then following these feelings of joy, feelings of peace, feelings of bliss, to say that I am now right. See, we're getting now wanting a sense of approval from our feelings. But the feeling that is coming up could be like sticky or discomfort and things like that. Then we are quick to interpret these feelings to say that I still haven't got it. But feeling is just feeling. Thought is just thought. It means nothing to you.
My question is, why what is delusion? Like what?
Delusion is just believing the interpreter. Simple as that. See? Believing the interpreter, ultimately believing that the interpreter is me. It is my own voice.
I'm just trying to see what is this bit. I mean,
Yeah.
like, is there something tangible to it? Like,
No.
there's nothing tangible to
It
it. It
cannot be.
just
Many seekers have looked for millions and millions of years to find some tangibility to this concept of ego or person, and nobody has ever been able to find. not one attribute they can find. This is not true. But if you're reliant on, I should feel that this is true, then we are expecting a feeling to come up and confirm. Or I should think now only true thoughts. Does not happen like that. Zoe says, Rashmi, I think we might be the same person. Yes. It is all the same guy. But you are not that. I know she's joking. Nan says, yes, yes, same here too. I knew the daughter in law thing is going to get some response. It's good. He says, being good, yes.
It's just it was lurking somewhere because it's a very good relationship, but now I see there were things stuck. And they are actually visiting us today in the evening, so I was like, okay, I have to just go see 5 minutes. I don't want to like burst out or something.
Nothing can happen.
This I doesn't even exist.
Don't try
there's
to.
Another thing I have. It's just the presence and the awareness thing. Like I said, when I first saw you, I had already seen what my being was, and just quickly got bypassed. Like really, there's no interest in just being.
Yes.
Even there's just the space in which everything, when the thoughts come, even the attention to the thoughts. And so then the mind comes. And so I mean, a lot of people do give importance to the present. There's nothing wrong, right or wrong, but then it says you don't know, you're not doing it right. you're not doing it right. You're going to fail. It's just everybody's going to get ahead of you. It's like all this nonsense just comes up, and then.
And you're not the only one who had this. Om also at one point said, because here we don't even emphasize so much, because most spiritual paths there's so much emphasis on just the practice being with the sense I am and all of that. Here we're quickly getting to the absolute. Because I see no trouble, you are the absolute itself. So why must you then have this middle stop and this stop to be with the presence and then let it become something?
Right. I didn't even try. It just. Yes. There was no trying to be or not be.
Yes. So it's like breathing. Breathing is present. So in many paths, Buddhism they'll say, okay, do mindful breathing. Spend many years with this mindfulness of breathing. Be with the breath. Why? So it has its place. It has its place for whoever needs to hear that will hear that. If it is freedom that you want in your heart, then you will go to the one who will tell you what you need to hear. So this feeling that, oh, I'm not in the presence of being, I'm not in the presence of consciousness of God, you are. Because you cannot stop being. Like you cannot stop breathing, you can stop for a few seconds. Right? So the presence is always here. What you're saying is you're not so interested in it. And that is okay.
So sometimes I try to pay attention to it because I feel, I don't know, it's just to the mind again. And then it doesn't work. And so just keep
And how, when we chase it, then it seems like there is distraction. That's why I say that easier is to say, okay, I'm going to stop being. Then you see that it cannot be stopped. Then what must we be chasing? Being arises within you. Therefore, you are prior even to being. Ishani says, yesterday I went into a laughing fit on how I was so concerned about a story that never happened. And about rectifying areas in myself which were never real. Yes.
She should have recorded that.
Rashmi says you should have recorded the laughing fit. So, whether we are talking about the entire story of our life or whether we are talking about a particular identification story, it is all the same. Nothing needs to be done. Atma says, "Thank you, Father." Yes, it is automatic. Cornelia says, "Yes, now I understand. Thank you, Father. This is very good." You see? This is very good. Zoe says, "My mother in law is coming round to babysit this evening, and the house must be and the house is unnaturally clean. Must be some kind of identity here." Oh no.
Yeah, we're the same person.
Rashmi says, "Yes, we are the same person." Remember that it is about neutrality. So even if you find that for some unexplained reason you're cleaning the house, you're still only the witnessing of it. No? It is the ego which comes post facto and says, "You did this because this one is coming. You are like this, and you are still identified." Just like when a thought comes, the ego comes and says, "It is your thought." The same way with action also. I feel most of you now have seen that video where the trigger for the action to happen happens even before the thought about the action comes. For those of you that missed it, there was a BBC documentary which was tracking this relationship between thought and action. And what they realized is the brain or whatever trigger is required for the action to happen is already sent a few seconds even before the thought came that this must be done. So, what does that tell us? It tells us that I am not the thinker of thought nor the doer of action. All that is happening is happening. Aradhana says no commas or semicolons on the distanceless journey back home to the absolute. It's so easy because we start at the destination. In this journey, we start at the destination. And even when we are pretending to run about, do this and do that, we still never left the destination. That's why we say that it is not even that the fish is thirsting for water, it is the water which is thirsting for water. So he says it is all nothing, nothing, nothing. There are so many of these lines. If any of them are just accepted, it is over. So anything that the mind says, nothing. Whatever it could be saying, nothing. Then, hmm, Ivan says, "Father, it is still not clear this question of are you aware?" There is an emptiness that is recognized because the mind doesn't understand the question, I would say. Yes. Now, don't make too much heavy work out of it. Just pretend as if you're a 5-year old, just a small child who has not read any Advaita books, has not attended any satsang. And the question is asked, are you aware now? And if you were not to refer to your mind, then immediately it is seen that yes, awareness is here. But if you give this question also to the mind, so although we try to remove all complexity from it, but even if this is given to the mind, it will create some contradiction, some doubt, some confusion. So actually, in the three simple pointings, we've attempted to remove all complexity. We've attempted to remove all things that the mind can say to get in the way. But still, if it is given to the mind, it will come up with something. But not to worry even about this, because the trickster's intelligence also comes from you, and you are the supreme intelligence.
So I can see exactly where the daughter-in-law thing is coming. So
Mm.
I see me in you
Mm.
now, and there's a fear of seeing me in them.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I see me in you now.
Like when I see you, I see you.
Yes,
I
I see
don't,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't explain that,
Yes.
but there's there's a fear of seeing me in them too.
Mm.
Like we are one.
Yes. Yes. So what it means is that when I see you, when I see the master, I feel that everything is so clear. Is it like that?
No, I feel like I'm seeing through your eyes. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm seeing myself through your
Yes.
eyes.
Yes. And what do you see? When you see yourself through my eye, what do you see?
Nothing. Just seeing us.
Mm. And what is the fear of when you were to see yourself through their eyes? You will see the judgments about you. Is that the fear?
The fear is the separation won't exist. I don't know. It's just made up. I think because until now it was them and me,
Yes.
but now there's no difference.
Mm.
I don't know if it makes sense,
Yes. But even the so it's seeming a little bit like level confusion. You see? Have you heard this term before? Level confusion. It's very common for the mind to play this level confusion trick. So if oneness is seen, then everything will be seen as one. It is not part of the appearance which will appear, oh, these are humans, so therefore this is one with me.
but
See? So this beingness arises, and all of this will be seen as a projection of this beingness. It will not be that, oh, I am one with you specifically, but I'm not one with this table.
okay.
Because all of it is me. It is my own projection.
That's not seeing you.
Yes. So what happens is it's becoming a personal sense of oneness, you know, with the master or with others. So it's seen in that way. So that is not really oneness. Oneness means that all that is appearing is just appearing in my life. Therefore, it is mine.
So is it a conclusion that therefore it is mine, or it's actually seen and
Seen to be.
seen to be? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When being exists, this exists.
Yes.
When being does not exist, nothing exists. No phenomena exists. So then, when we say oneness, then it is for everything. So what it is smelling a little bit of is little bit like a projected oneness. That I want to be one with this being, but now if I'm one with this being, does this mean that I'll become one with this one also, which I don't really want to be because they have some attributes which are not so some way. So that is more of a mind playing the game of oneness. So drop even the concept of oneness. Let oneness only be an insight. Don't try to become one or try to become separate. Nothing. Just drop this whole concept itself. Pretend as if you never heard of it. You don't know what Advaita means. And just keep disbelieving your next thought. Then you will see that all that is appearing is me. There are no two. Otherwise, what will happen is that we'll end up fragmenting this entire appearance into various levels and categories. So, when the distinction in reality, it is seen that there is no daughter in law, mother in law, father in law, daughter in law, then that is oneness. But when it is like, okay, I'm the daughter in law, but now I see my father in law as one with me, that is not actually oneness because there is still the daughter in law and father in law.
Yes.
So when that distinction goes away, but still very naturally that self can play those roles. So it's like you can sense that all of it is just a projection in me, but still the father role can be played from here without any effort. So to the child, it might seem like this one is really being a father. But you know in your heart that you didn't pick up the identity and it is automatically flowing. It's like even in satsang, the teachers, uh, these words are coming up, so I'll say them. The masters also sometimes get into trouble because they pick up the master identity. So the instrument identity or the instrument feeling is kept aside, and then they start believing the person has become a master now. And then the duality of master student comes. And then life will show them their mirror also what they need to see to get to their full freedom. But actually, there is no difference between master and student. It's just that it is appearing that this body has been surrendered to spirit to use, to the Sadguru to use, and another being is playing out as a student role. But if there's belief, oh, I have now achieved something or become something, then that is opening the doors to suffering and to identity. So all relationships are like this. Deevan said something very nice yesterday actually. She said that I'm not sure what if some speaking was happening or not. But once in a while I hear some words are coming out, so it seems to be going. This is exactly the satsang experience. I have no idea what I spoke just now, but I know some words came through and I trust what is speaking. So that will become true for all of us. Then it becomes effortless. Then every word from your mouth is satsang itself. Ishani says, only the walls of my room have been lucky to witness the madness, Rashmi, but a camera will surely bring some entertainment to the world. Yes. All these spontaneous laughter, spontaneous crying can happen along the way. Jayani says, Namaste, Father and Sangha. Just popping in. We'll catch up later. Love you so much. Love you too, my dear. Zoe also has to leave early today, probably because her mother in law is coming. So much love, so much love. Atma says, same happens to me when I am reading in broadcast and have spontaneous sharing. This is very good. Cornelia says, Father, I am lost without you. The good news is that you cannot be without me. I am you. Thank you so much as well. Don't wait to come to some conclusions about yourself. Don't wait to come to a freedom conclusion also. Be empty even of this concept. So someone wrote the other day to one of us in the Sangha saying that Ananta is still sleeping and he has some hubris. I think hubris was the word that they used. Hubris means arrogance or some delusion. But it makes no difference. It makes no difference to me. No person can actually ever become awake. And what we really are can never sleep. Hmm? So if ever I was to operate as Ananta, as a person, then I am sleeping. Makes no difference. Because in reality, I cannot sleep. In reality, you cannot sleep. You cannot sleep. So I'm as much asleep as any of you, or as much awake as any of you. It's just that the testimony coming from your mouth and my mouth could be different sometimes. There is no concept of asleep or awake for me. And my constant prayer always is that if there is arrogance here, let it be exposed and let me experience the full suffering for it right now. There is no fear of suffering. And I know that arrogance will lead to suffering. But suffering is also now seen as grace. So let it come. Let it please come right now. Who is awake and who is asleep? Anytime there is belief in the person, it is called sleep. And as Amaya is saying, anytime the next thought is dropped, it is called awake. But in actuality, it is still always only awake. I cannot say that anyone is asleep. And yet I'm completely open to hearing when someone says Ananta is asleep. Makes no difference. That is another example of level confusion. What we are speaking of is the reality for all. But when self realization has been made this stamp, certified self realized, then there are people handing out certificates of freedom or not. It's the funniest thing. That's why I said that even if you could be deeply identified as a person, does that change what you really are? It doesn't. You're just having fun. You know? It's like if I bought tickets to a movie and go to a movie, does it change who I am? It doesn't. Amaya said, Father, there's such gratitude for don't believe your next thought. Yes, yes, it's very beautiful. Nothing can survive it. It does seem, though, that it is me who needs to sort of grab myself and do it, remind myself, don't believe it. Any words on this? Imaginary one employed to deal with the imaginary one. Yes, yes. It can seem like this. And Bhagwan said it very beautifully when he said that this is the thorn. So this is my thorn. This is my thorn which I am giving to you. It is still a thorn, like you say. Still a thorn, but it will remove all the other thorns and you will throw even this. And you know in your heart that if some thorn is coming up, then this thorn can be employed. But if there's nothing, no pain, no sense of any suffering at all, then even this is not required. Because we've had long time of conditioning of believing thoughts, sometimes these tools are needed. They seem to be needed in this play actually. But even this ultimately will be thrown away. Aradhana says the one who's seeing hubris in the other, in the quote unquote other, is perhaps projecting what is present in the being there. If there is truth here, all reflected is the truth. Wonderful, this smile. You know, many years ago, this just reminded me of something. Many years ago, there was this site, I don't know whether it's still around. It's called the Guru Rating site. Have any of you seen it? It was a Guru rating site which was became very popular.
Guru ratings.
Yeah. So they had various ratings, and uh, I was just listening to Muji YouTube's. Then I had not met him. I don't feel I visited that site since I met him. And then I was so attracted by the videos, Muji videos, and it spoke so clearly to me. And there, Muji was not even mentioned, or he had like half a star or something. Who are these people? You know, what are they doing? So the mind can use, even these kind of things to distract us from what is truly true. So the mind feels a sense of superiority by saying, even the gurus I will rate now. This master is five-star master, and this master is something else. It's all part of the play. It's all okay. Ishani says, too much love for arrogance to exist in this sangha. Yes. Amaya says, thank you for satsang. Very welcome, my dear. Love to you and sangha. So much love. Good answer, she said. Charles has seen the site, the Guru rating site. Yes. Cornelia says, can't stop these tears. Thank you, Father, for the beautiful satsang. So much love, dearest Father and Sangha. So much love to you too. Ah, Shine In said that. Yes. Not Ishani, Shine. Yeah? Julio said, too much love for arrogance to exist in this sangha. Very good. Charles says it is grace for any comprehension to take place. Aradhana says shininess Julio. Yes. Jenny says, Father, grace brings, don't believe the next thought. Yes. So much grace. Grace brings identification and it's undoing. Yes. It's all grace. Once this is seen, everything is grace. Mother in law is grace. Father in law is grace. Daughter in law is grace. Just enjoy the movie. Love you, Julio. Thank you so much. Adam, thank you so much. Love you too. Shani, thank you so much. Thank you all so very much for beautiful satsang today. Mujiji ki jai.